The Supreme Court has directed a ban on mining in Niyamgiri to continue. This wouldn't augur well for Vedanta Resources, which should pull up Sterlite Industries for you. Mind you, this is the Lanjigar alumina refinery, which is dependent on the bauxite from Niyamgiri. Now that this ban continues, it wouldn't be the best of news for Vedanta. They'll have to get the Gram Sabha consent for mining in Niyamgiri. Now, without getting into too many details, we'll just wait for the others to come about, but this would essentially mean that even if they do get consent from the Gram Panchayats, this is probably an elongated process. But for now, they are not going to do it. The bauxite mining from Niyamgiri doesn't happen, which means that the Lanjigar alumina refinery of Sterlite does not get the required bauxite, and this would be bad news for Sterlite, and the stock should be reacting. My guess is that it would already have fallen off from those flat levels that it was trading at. Mind you, it went up close to 4% in yesterday's trade, and this won't happen. So, just to give a backdrop, the Environment Ministry had withdrew a clearance for the Niyamgiri mines in August 2010. So it's been there for a while, and now it's continuing. So this is not good news, and surely reacting on the stock as well. 2% down for Sterlite Industries. We'll get in our analyst Gargi Parikh coming up in just a bit. But, this is not good news at all. I think the company had shut the Lanjigar refinery in December 12 due to the bauxite shortage as well. So, Gargi, this is the basic details that I have, but surely not good news. They can get consent from the Gram Panchayat as and when it happens, but on the face of it, not good news.
Well, as far as you mentioned, if the Supreme Court has said that the ban will continue and later the top authorities of the state are going to decide what is really the fate of Niyamgiri, on the face of it, it looks negative. For now, the ban continues. Remember that Sterlite Industries, Vedanta Aluminium, the subsidiary of the company which operates the Lanjigar refinery, this refinery was completely dependent on Niyamgiri for bauxite reserves. And remember that they had planned to spend almost $6.6 billion on this particular refinery. In fact, they had already about 50 to 60% of the investment was already made over here. So we are talking of almost 30,000 crore kind of a figure that Sterlite had already spent on making this refinery. They were going to increase the capacity from 1 million ton refining capacity to about 5 million tons, for which the environmental clearance had not been granted. In fact, the environmental clearance for this Lanjigar, for the Niyamgiri mines, had been taken away by the Environment Ministry. This had been challenged in the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court clearly saying that the ban continues. Let the top authorities of the state decide. Let the Gram Panchayat decide on what is really going to be the fate of Niyamgiri's mining. There were some tribal sensitive as well as environment sensitive issues that were playing out. So clearly a negative coming in for Sterlite Industries.
Let's cut across to Nitya Balakrishnan as well. She's got the first-hand updates on what the verdict was and the final points as well. Nitya, you got the broad basics, but what else are you picking up?
Well, Neeraj, clearly, as was mentioned, we are talking about 63 mines across Category B that have been okayed by the Supreme Court for resumption of mining. A big boost indeed to players. We're talking about the likes of JSW Steel, Kalyani, as well as Sasagoa. Remember, all of them who have substantial reserves that fall under the Category B mines in Karnataka. But clearly, the Supreme Court ruling that there will be no relief for mine operators in Category C mines in Karnataka, indicating that those licenses at the moment will stand cancelled. There will be fresh leases that will have to be drawn upon for any kind of a mining activity to take place under Category C in Karnataka. But clearly, when it comes to the Category B mines, we are talking about certain riders that the mine operators and companies mining there will have to follow. Now, this is on the basis of the recommendations of the CEC, which is clearly mandated that there will be some compensation that the company will have to pay. Remember, compensation has already begun being meted out by various companies mining that area. We're also talking about initiation of R&R activities at the earliest. That is something that the CEC has mandated in order to actually permit any kind of resumption of mining in Category B. So we are seeing an open nod from the Supreme Court for resumption of mining activities in Category B, but definitely they come with riders at the moment. But definitely a significant breather for the entire space, because remember, for the first time we did see exports of iron ore dip over 69% to 18 million tons in FY13, and across the board we're talking to players here, and we're getting a sense that this relief from the Supreme Court will definitely mean a better picture really for FY14 as far as iron ore here is concerned.